Welcome Rotarians and guests to the Rotary Club of York, where our mission is to improve life in the city of York by connecting our club's diverse community leaders through fellowship, action, and service. I am your president, Courtney Piccolo, and as you all know, we start off every meeting by reciting the four-way test. If you would please join me. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Today, our opening song, the Star Spangled Banner, and the pledge will be led by District Governor nominee-elect Aaron Jacobs. So mouthful. Followed by the invocation with Eric Chase and visitor introductions by Tony Schweitzer. Aaron.
Thank you, President Courtney. I get a preamble here. Years ago, Fran Hoover told me that, when you do the Star Spangled Banner, it is right and true to place your right hand over your heart. That sounded reasonable to me. So ever since then, years ago, I started to do it that way. And I don't know why, but last night I felt the need to fact check Fran Hoover to see what she's saying is correct. According to U.S. Flag Code 36 USC 301, when the Star Spangled Banner is played or sung, those who are not in uniform should stand at attention facing the flag and place their right hand over their heart. Good job, Fran. So I'm asking the club today, starting today, moving forward, when we do the Star Spangled Banner, let's place our right hand over our hearts. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. I pledge allegiance to the flag, to the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just like Fox 43, verified. Let us prepare ourselves in a way that we're most accustomed for prayer. Gracious God, our Father, we gather together as Rotarians in this fellowship and friendship, and we ask that you bless this time together as we take a pause in our day to enjoy each other's time and company and to share information about a company that helps bridge the gap in language barrier for those using AI and an app to help us connect with people in different ways. We ask you to bless this food that we have nourished our bodies with and the hands that have prepared it and served it toward us so that we may continue to follow that Rotary mantra of a service above ourselves. And now we ask this all in the many names that we call you. Amen.
Good afternoon. I am pleased to have the honor of introducing our guests for today's meeting. When I call your name, please stand and remain standing until President Courtney has welcomed you. Sharon Hagenberger, who is the guest of Jason McSherry, and Cheryl Easter, who is the guest of Matthew Smith.
Welcome visitors. I hope you're enjoying a wonderful lunch and we're able to engage in fellowship with our outstanding community leaders and enjoy a program that both informs and inspires you. We're truly grateful that you are here and invite you to visit again soon. Rotarians, let's give our guests a warm welcome. And now for some announcements. The Youth Leadership Committee meets this afternoon at 2 p.m. on Teams. The Youth Service Projects Committee will meet on March 6th at 8:30 on Zoom. The Fundraising Projects Committee will meet on March 7th at 8:30 on Zoom. The PPE Committee will meet on March 12th at 8 a.m. on Zoom. And the Membership Engagement Committee would like to extend a congratulations to Larry Richardson on his 30th anniversary of being a member of the Rotary Club of York. Larry joined this week in 1995. Yes, round of applause. Larry, raise your hand so everybody can see you. There you go. Yes, glad he's here. Yeah, exactly. We're glad you're here too. That is embarrassing when that happens. We extend a congratulations to Rotarian Jeff Lobach. If Jeff's here, wave your hand. Is Jeff here today? Way in the back. All right. Rotarian Jeff Lobach and his wife Cindy, this year's recipients of the Penmar Human Services Distinguished Humanitarian Award at the organization's gala this past weekend. They received this award in recognition of their decades of philanthropic efforts, including work on behalf of the Golden Venture immigrants detained in York County. So a round of applause to Jeff and his wife. The Membership Engagement Committee has been very busy. Fresh off of their fun meeting last week, they have scheduled 3 events for early April. So on April 1st, there's another club service opportunity with the York County Food Bank from 4 to 6:30. On April 5th, they have arranged a group outing at 7 p.m. to a Hershey Bears game. And on April 8th, we are going to be bowling again at Suburban Bowlerama at 3:30 p.m. You don't need skills for any of the things that I just told you about. And in your emails now, you should have invitations on how to sign up for these events. They just got sent out during the meeting today. And that way you can get registered. There is limited space on every single one of these items. So please make sure you guys register as soon as possible. And today we are celebrating International Women's Day, which is Saturday, March 8th. This theme this year is Accelerate Action, a worldwide call to acknowledge strategies and activity that positively impact women's advancement and to support efforts towards achieving equal rights for women and girls around the world. So thank you to all that wore purple today to celebrate the incredible strength, resilience, and achievements of women's worldwide. And as a reminder, after the Rotary meeting today, if you're a woman and you're wearing purple, we want to take your picture up here and post it on our Facebook page. So don't forget to come up here after the meeting. And at this time, I would like to invite Michael Lowe to the podium to share with you a Student Education Committee announcement. Michael.
Good afternoon to all of my fellow Rotarians. I'm representing the Student Education Committee. And if you're part of that committee, can you put your hand up way high? I'm a teacher, so I'm looking way high. Give a wave. These are other committee members that are with me on the committee, and we have been very busy this year. So since the start of 2025, we've been getting out information to all of the surrounding school systems, focusing on York City students in particular, with the fact that we have over $48,000 worth of scholarships to hand out through 11 different scholarships. They are for graduating seniors, for current college students, and then adult learners. The one that I absolutely want to draw your attention to is the fact that we revisited the scholarships this year and looked particularly at the York Rotary Adult Learner Scholarships. There are 2. And these scholarships are to support non-traditional students. These are students, adults, grown-ups that have gone back to college for their first degree after the age of 26, or if you are a veteran after the age of 24. You're working to earn your first bachelor's or associate's degree. And the reason that I bring that to your attention is because on everybody's table is one of these, or at least one of these flyers. And I am going to check tables at the end of today's session to make sure that they are gone. This is your homework. Take one of these home with you. Give it to a senior, give it to an adult learner, because we have 2 weeks left. March the 15th is when the scholarships will finish up through TFEC and they will make their final decisions. And then we will move through the year and recognize those individuals who are receiving the scholarships. I will stay after this afternoon if there are any additional questions. You saw the other members with their hands up in the air. You can ask them questions as well, but because of the good teacher inside of me, Please make sure you take these home and hand them out to a special person in your life, an adult learner or a senior, and we appreciate the extra help. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael. And I want to give this committee a special shout out with the amazing work that they've done. One of the goals of this committee this year was to try to reach more people, and they created a video to help promote applicants applying for scholarships. And they posted it on a whole bunch of different social media channels. And I saw it pop up on Facebook the other day, and I saw on the bottom right that it had 10,300 views already. So that's really amazing. So really great work that your committee is doing and trying to reach more people this year. And now I would like to invite Phil Woods to the podium to introduce to you our newest members.
While our new members are lining up, I will say I wore purple, so we're taking a second picture with any men as well who have purple on. I take responsibility for that. All right, Patrick, you're tall enough. You see over top. Today, we have the pleasure of inducting 5 new members with us today. As an individual with a last name starting with W, I went random alphabetical order. So first, we're going to introduce to you Emily Seitz. Emily, if you can just wave your hand as I call your name. Emily is proposed by Robin Rohrbaugh. Emily earned a BA from York College, a master's degree, and a PhD in history and women's studies from Penn State University. Emily is currently Director of Development at Community Progress Council, a board member of York Day Early Learning, and York Academy Regional Charter School Foundation. Emily is married to Matthew Moore. Together they have 3 children, Isla and twin 5-year-olds, Benjamin and Nathaniel. And in free time, she enjoys reading and writing, hiking and running, all while traveling with family. If you could give Emily a nice Rotary welcome. Next, we have Stephen Whiteley, proposed by Dave Meckley, a graduate of Central York. I say go Panthers. Stephen earned a degree at Dartmouth College, as well as a master's from the University of New Mexico. Stephen retired after a career in teaching, most recently as a science teacher and advisor at the York Suburban School District. Stephen helped start Minithon at York Suburban, still involved as a district board member, food pantry helper, and advisor to students on the fundraising and collections committee. By the way, committee chairs, pay attention to hobbies and experience. We have a lot of future committee members here. Stephen is married to Sharon, has 2 children, Dan and Emma, and enjoys golf, home improvement, and learning to play the bagpipes. He said it's coming along slowly, but maybe we'll get to hear him one day. Fellow Rotarians, please help me in welcoming Stephen. Next, we have a recent speaker, Patrick Ball, proposed also by Dave Meckley. Patrick's a graduate of William Penn Senior High School, who went on to earn a BS in accounting from Penn State and an MBA from Johns Hopkins. Patrick is, bear with me here, Patrick's CEO of CBY Professional Services, as well as CEO of York Agricultural Society and CEO of LifePath Christian Ministries. Patrick serves on several boards, including Explore York, York Academy Regional Charter School, Spring Grove Education Fund, and is immediate past chair of the York County Solid Waste Authority. Another CEO in the household, maybe. He enjoys traveling with his wife, Kelly, and their 2 children, Ashton and Bryce. Fellow Rotarians, please help me welcome Patrick. Next, we have Christina Sokash, proposed by Jackie Summers. Graduate of Redland High School, Christina studied criminal justice and nursing at Harrisburg Area Community College. Christina is a sales manager at Higher Information Group and is involved with several organizations, including Redland All Sports Booster, ARC of York County, YCEA, and the York Builders Association, to name just a few. Christina is married to Brian Leiden and enjoys cooking, hiking, all water activities, traveling, and spending time with family, which include 3 children, Ryan, Griffin, and Helena, and 2 stepchildren, Brady and Nora. So maybe a youth service committee member. Fellow Rotarians, please help me welcome Christina. And last but not least, Derek Manenfor, proposed by Frank Countess. Derek graduated from Mattoon High School in Mattoon, Illinois, before earning a degree at Eastern Illinois University, a Master of Music from Indiana University, and a JD from Temple University. Welcome to Pennsylvania. Derek is an attorney at CJA Law Firm and a member of both the York County and Lancaster County Bar Association. He's a former member of the Lebanon Valley Chamber Foundation and Lebanon County Community Concerts Association. He is currently active as the director of music for his church, but he made me correct. I put board member of Lebanon Valley and in Lebanon County. That's former, so he sounds like a free agent for any board service that may be available. Derek is married to Elizabeth and has 2 children, Claire and Abigail. Hobbies are listed as playing the piano, hiking, biking, and landscaping. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Derek Manenfor. Thank you.
All right, to our newest members, welcome to our Rotary Club. We are thrilled to have you be here with us and be a part of improving life in the city of York. Don't be a stranger. You now have 300 new friends who are very excited to get to know you. Rotarians, please help me welcome our newest members. Thank you. And now I would like to invite past President Mike Summers to the podium to introduce our speaker for today. Mike.
Thank you, President Courtney. Today, our speaker will be Mark Murphy, who is an entrepreneur, an educator with a passion for workforce development. Having lived and taught English in Europe and Asia, he saw firsthand how language barriers limited job opportunities. This experience led him to create Vizulingo, a mobile app that uses AI and virtual reality to teach English in a way that prepares learners for real-world jobs. Mark will discuss how language barriers are making it harder for industries like home healthcare and hospitality to find and retain qualified workers. Many non-native English speakers have the skills to succeed, but struggle due to communication challenges. Vizulingo provides job-specific language training, helping workers gain confidence while allowing employers to expand their hiring pools and reduce turnover. Mark will share how this technology can strengthen York's workforce and how businesses, community leaders can get involved. Fellow Rotarians and guests, please warmly welcome Mark Murphy.
Everyone, first of all, thank you all so much for having me today. My name is Mark Murphy. So I am the CEO of Vizulingo, and Vizulingo, a lot of you probably have not heard of it because we are kind of coming out of stealth mode right now, but it's a workforce training mobile app that uses virtual reality, not in a VR headset like everybody knows of. It's going to be more on your mobile device, and I'll show you all a video of kind of like a demo in a little bit here. So it uses virtual reality, aka mixed reality, along with AI and gamification and storytelling to teach a language, but also soft skill development as well too. For we're kind of starting off with language training, but we are really going to be able to grow to teach soft skills for any type of industry. Like I said, beyond languages, we'll be able to teach kind of workforce development skills for a number of sectors here. So. Okay. Oh, sorry. Gotcha. I need a help real quick. Yeah, no worries. There we go. Okay. So I'll give you guys a little bit of background about myself. As Mike had mentioned, I lived in Vietnam, Italy, and Thailand for 8 years as an English teacher. Specifically, I lived in Rome for a number of years. When you're an English teacher or just a teacher in general, you are underpaid. So I had to get a second side job. And I actually became a tour guide in Rome. So I was giving tours at the Vatican, the Colosseum. Other than Vizulingo, I actually own a company called Immersive Italy Tours. So we plan off the beaten path tour packages all over Italy. So if anybody's ever interested, let me know. But I started teaching English as kind of like a means to an end, and I realized how much I love it. Really being able to, see your students as a teacher, you really love seeing your students kind of connect the dots. The English language, it's so important that, you have to be successful. If English is not your first language, you have to know the language in order to be successful in life. So I really grew to absolutely love teaching English, and I wanted to make that my life, basically. So I moved back to the States a number of years ago, and I connected with a couple people that worked at NASA headquarters for a while. My co-founder, who's you'll see a picture of him in a little bit, Fox Bonilla, he actually worked at NASA headquarters as a software developer, specifically training astronauts in virtual reality. So what we know as virtual reality now, they've been playing with and tinkering with for at least a couple decades now, basically at this point. So really, our mission with Vizulingo is to really help adults learn real world skills, real world communication, literacy, and workforce skills through immersive learning. So videos are nice, and a lot of people have, My Learning on their websites, which are, it does the job, right? But imagine being able to put yourself in the scenario in a virtual environment and actually working to solve a problem, to communicate with a virtual avatar. And that's kind of what we're doing here. And through that, we're really, hoping to build stronger language skills that lead to better jobs, better care, customer care, or patient care if you're in the healthcare field, and overall just, a more inclusive community. So if you think about the language barriers that exist right now, right? So the impact of language barriers, and I can speak to home healthcare because that's one of the fields that the sectors that we're working on right now. So businesses in the US, home healthcare specific, they lose about $3 billion per year because they're understaffed, and there are communication challenges with their home healthcare aides that exist now. But Forbes, I was reading an article in Forbes that mentioned businesses lose about $62 million per year due to miscommunications, upset customers. So there are a lot of limitations with the traditional language learning methods. Quick show of hands, anybody ever use Duolingo or Babbel to learn another language? Okay, so I started with Duolingo, and I'm not really a fan of it, not to talk bad about them by any means. It's just everybody has their own cup of tea, and the way that the language learning exists now, they really just put you in one category, right? So we're using AI to collect data points on every individual student because everybody learns differently, especially when it comes to languages. We're using specific data points to present those lessons or those exercises that you will learn better with when it comes to languages. But again, beyond languages, it's soft skills as well too. But specific industry needs right now, we're starting with the first three that have the biggest workforce needs in the entire United States. Home healthcare, there's going to be 700,000 job vacancies over the next decade in home healthcare in the United States. Right now, there's 11,000 people per day turning 65 in the US. There's not enough home healthcare aides. So we're trying to qualify more home healthcare aides. Specifically in Pennsylvania, we are partnering with the Pennsylvania Home Care Association. If anybody's ever worked with them, an amazing organization. And we're actually on their workforce development board as well. Hospitality, again, there's a huge shortage in hospitality and skilled labor as well too. So one of the stats that I found, there's over 13,000 people in York County that speak English technically poorly, which is, they have limited communication skills. So if your business is starving for talent, for workforce talent, this could be an opportunity as well. So just to show you a couple of screenshots of what we're doing, I kind of mentioned how we're using artificial intelligence. Again, collecting data points. if you've heard the term large language model, that is kind of what ChatGPT is, for example, right? So in the future, we're going to be developing our own large language model specifically for language learning. Gamification is always a way to get people to come back and promote stickiness in the app. So we're using, and that's one thing that Duolingo did very, very well, is they have the gamification element down to make you want to go back and complete that streak and, and really just kind of keep learning. But the virtual reality component, this is where we initially started. We wanted to go into a VR headset, but we realized that not a lot of people were going out and purchasing these expensive headsets. So we decided a way to put virtual reality on your mobile device. For anybody that is not too prone on what the technology terms are. So virtual reality, augmented reality, if you've ever seen like Pokemon Go, it's kind of all coming under this umbrella called XR, mixed reality. So this is mixed reality and spatial computing. I think this should be a demo video. If we can get it up. So basically what we can do is we can recreate any type of scenario, any type of room, any type of business, and recreate a customer service interaction. So in this case, the student is in a hospital bedroom, and they have a patient that is asking for something specific, right? So you're interacting with the object. You're learning about it. You're learning, and like imagine you can just go into like a scavenger hunt mode, and everything's labeled inside of a virtual environment, but you're doing it all in the comfort of your own homes. So one of the things that we realized is that most non-native English speakers, they might be working 2 or 3 jobs just to pay for their, just to help support their family. So they don't really have the time to physically sit in a classroom. That's where we kind of come in, because if you wanted to learn 24 hours a day, you have this AI tutor that will kind of walk you through the learning process, but also you can learn in virtual environments like this. So in terms of community benefits, we're really looking to boost the local workforce. Again, beyond language learning, we're really focusing on soft skill development as well. Promote cross-cultural understanding, because you might get people that are newer to the States, and they might not know really about our customs and our cultures. So if you say one word in their language, it can construe something completely different here. So we wanted to kind of teach them that cultural awareness as well, but also to improve communication in diverse communities too. So value propositions for kind of both the businesses and the end users. Also, I'd mentioned a couple of times an increased workforce due to communication, right? So the better we can communicate or teach communication in English, the better your customer service is going to be. It kind of all dovetails into each other. But for the end users, our goal right now is to help teach English, and not even just English, but another language 3 times faster. Develop confidence, because that's what about 70% of adult learners, they lack confidence when it comes to speaking another language. And it's not just English, it's everybody else. I speak fluent Italian. The funny thing is my last name is Murphy and I'm 0% Italian, but I go to Italy and everybody asks me like, what is your cognome? What is your last name? And I say Murphy, and they're like, Murphy, non sei Italiano, like you are not Italian. So when I was speaking Italian in Italy, I felt like an idiot. Like I was just saying I was just making up words. And it was, as an adult, when you're speaking another language, as a kid, you can easily do it because you don't really have this hubris. But when you are speaking as an adult, you really have to have that confidence. And that's what we're instilling, because we're building kind of like this sandbox to learn a language or to learn soft skill development, but where you can make mistakes, but not really have to worry about it. And then all of it, it all kind of comes up to helping people get certified to what they need what they need for their jobs, basically employment. So just a kind of quick run through my team. My job as a CEO is not to be the smartest person in the room. It is to get people that are way smarter than me to kind of just come together. So my COO, Carrie, she actually has worked in home healthcare for over 20 years. She's worked for a couple small startup tech companies as well too. Bethany, who highlighted here, she actually works for both NASA and the European Space Agency. Any space people in the room, if you've ever seen pictures from the James Webb Telescope or the Hubble, she is actually the first one that gets to see them, of the first like 2 or 3 people. We have amazing software developers. We have a professor at the University of Southern California. The gentleman in the lower left-hand corner, he's actually one of my technical co-founders. He's worked at NASA headquarters for 12 years. He goes pretty much all over the States to speak about AI and the future of immersive learning. So right now, we are still kind of in our initial stages here. So we just finished our product a couple weeks ago. We're now in our first pilot program. So if anybody has ever ran a tech company before, you kind of have to go through this reiteration process and gain feedback. So we're actually in our first cohort right now with the Spanish American Civics Association over in Lancaster, and we have a lot of lessons learned basically. So really right now we're, our goals are to just get as much feedback as possible to keep reiterating and make the best product that we can make. So and then we just, ultimately we want to work with, universities in the area. We're kind of starting in central PA with our, kind of in our nucleus here where we're based, to work with universities and kind of develop some white papers and things like that. So again, even just being in pilot for a couple of weeks now, we've already learned a lot about what we want to kind of reiterate and keep going with. So if anybody is ever interested, we do have another pilot cohort starting. So happy to talk kind of details about that. So a little bit about our timeline. So we are looking to launch in different industries. So we're going to have the ability to kind of create content on the fly. So if somebody comes up to me and say, hey, we're a dentist office and we want to teach soft skill training to even just our English employees to help them get certified, we can kind of, in about probably 4 to 5 weeks, we can create content around that. So again, we have our first couple pilot cohorts that are going on right now. Our first industry that we're launching with is healthcare. So I had completed a couple accelerator programs, and my mentors were, initially we were kind of focusing on general English language learning. My mentors were telling me, you're kind of going head to head with Duolingo and Babbel, so you have to niche down a little bit more. And the reason why we chose home healthcare is because, again, it's the biggest workforce need in the U.S., especially in PA too. I mean, there's a lot of retirees that are moving here, and there's not enough people to take care of them at the end of the day. And following healthcare, we're going to be launching in hospitality, skilled labor, but also additional languages as well too. We're going to start with Spanish and French, and then kind of branch out from there. So just to kind of wrap up a little bit. So in summary, just kind of talking about language barriers. Again, I'd kind of mentioned this multiple times in the presentation, but our goal is to create more jobs, better communication, and that would lead to better jobs as well too. Talked about our use of AI. AI is the biggest buzzword right now. Anybody that works in the technology sector, you probably have heard about the Consumer Electronics Show that they do every January in Las Vegas. I try to go there every year. It's nice to get to Vegas, number one, after the holidays, but number two, it's you get to see all of the future technology. And this is where I got the inspiration to build Vizulingo. So if you're even remotely interested in virtual reality, in technology, try to get to the Consumer Electronics Conference if you can. But again, we're looking to impact the community in a very positive way. So if you work for a nonprofit, please reach out to us, because we can even, we have a scholarship program where we can even donate licenses. And, again, we're looking to scale to other industries as well too, like I mentioned. Again, I kind of mentioned working with the community. Happy to donate licenses. We're also open to many collaborations, so please feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions, and that is it. So I'll be happy to take any questions right now too.
Thank you for that talk. You said you speak Italian.
I do, yeah.
I have a test for you. My last name is Caltagirone, or Caltagirone. How do you pronounce that?
So I can't roll my R's. I can speak Italian. I can't roll my R's though. I've spoken Italian for 12 years. Caltagirone,
Yes.
I think, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's an inside joke.
My name, Murphy.
Murphy, yes. Separate from that, my question is actually, I lost my train of thought. Oh, your competition. Who's your competition and how do you foresee like your company 2.0?
Sure. So our competition right now is a company called NGen. So they started off as this company called Voxy. So years ago, if you have seen, they kind of did what we started to do, where we just kind of went in the general space of English language learning, or just language learning in general. So they pivoted after not really capturing a lot of market share. They pivoted into going into healthcare. We're specifically focusing on home healthcare. So they're kind of blanketed all over healthcare. Number one, and number two, we actually have 3 patents pending right now for our technology and our learning method right now. So that's we're trying to create barriers to entry that way. And there no other companies really kind of using virtual reality, kind of XR, I would say, like we are. One of the interfaces I wasn't able to show you was our main interface that we have is a text chat interface. So imagine being on Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp, using that as an educational tool, right? So you have this 24/7 AI mentor that's, you can message at 3 o'clock in the morning if you wanted to, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, whatever. That person is guiding you through. What we're doing is we're recreating all of the mobile phone interfaces that we know and use each day. So you think about video chat, emailing, texting, reading reviews on Yelp. We're weaving them into this immersive story where it feels like you're actually speaking to somebody, but you're not. If anybody's ever seen the movie Her with Joaquin Phoenix, it's a little weird. We're trying to kind of recreate that, but without the creepiness of dating the AI, basically, if that makes sense. So hopefully that answered the question. But for the 2.0, we are really kind of fine-tuning our education formula. We've already learned a lot of lessons for the first pilot right now. Thankfully, we're recreating our, and we're actually submitting another patent actually in the next probably 2 weeks around our educational formula.
I thank you for this. I work in healthcare, in hospice and palliative care, so I understand what you're saying about our challenges in healthcare, particularly home healthcare.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of initiatives around training our English speaking staff to speak Spanish. And I wondered if you are thinking about going that way or only teaching English.
Yeah, we're definitely going that way. So we wanted to we're going to start creating modules for English learners to learn Spanish, probably in the next 2 to 3 months. And second of all, thank you so much for what you do. You all are very valued in the community. My dad was on, and part of this was my dad was placed on in-home hospice for a full year. And after a couple of weeks, it was really hard to get care for, from the home healthcare aid side, because, again, my dad made it for a full year on in-home hospice. So I really was able to take my love of teaching languages and combine that with, really being able to help other families not have to go through what me and my family did, right? To get that quality care. So yeah, I'd love to talk with you afterwards. I'll be around.
Thank you very much for your presentation today. My question was about kind of the sales aspect. So do you foresee, the model being that the business is kind of buying the licenses for their employees, or the employees buying individual license, or is it going to be like an ad supported model?
Sure. Yeah. So we're going to be kind of like a hybrid B2B and B2G model. So our initial customers are going to be home healthcare agencies, along with like hospitality companies. But yeah, it's going to be the business to business model. And then also kind of thinking future, long term is going to be more B2G. So we're going to be selling to partnering actually as well too with workforce development agencies, all the way up to the State Department of Labor, State Department of Education, and then, on the national level as well too.
Just a quick follow-up question. This goes beyond apps like Babbel and Duolingo. So is your exit strategy to be acquired by those folks?
Eventually, yes. I would say our exit strategy right now is probably about 5 years down the road. We in about 2 or 3 years, I want to start a nonprofit branch to where we are working with, underfunded, underfunded organizations in communities that have very high language learning needs. So my end goal, or sorry, my exit strategy personally is to eventually run the nonprofit branch, and have somebody run the for-profit side. But it would be getting acquired in, I would say, about 3 to 5 years, but more on the 5-year side. Yeah, yeah.
Hi, thanks. It's very interesting. You had mentioned that you were doing some work with the Hispanic Center over in Lancaster, and I wondered if you could say more about that and if you've been involved at all with Tech Centro here in York. And where is your company located if you have a location?
Yeah, so we're technically, our address is over in Ephrata. I am technically a digital nomad, so I've been working remotely since like 2016. So I usually spend time between here, Italy. I'm usually in Italy for about 2 months a year. Arizona, just because I don't like the cold weather. I mean, look at this. Yeah, so technically we are based in Ephrata. And with working with, so we're actually working with the Tech Centro in Lancaster, but we would love to work with the one in York as well too. But really, we just started our first pilot, so we just have 5 students right now, just kind of going through it, and that really helps inform us on what type of if they have to, if they have any needs when it comes to, hitting the customer service button, if they get stuck at all. So we started off with a very, very small pilot, and it's going good. Again, we have a lot of lessons to be, to learn, and or that we've learned. For me, I'm kind of a perfectionist. So when it comes to building technology, there's all these features that we wanted to go out in our 1.0. Every single one of those features has a dollar amount next to it. So for us as a small business, kind of, it was a little bit of a struggle to kind of raise to get to even just this 1.0, because a large part of that is we were talking about AI before it became mainstream with ChatGPT. So people didn't really know what it was very hard to kind of describe that. Now that AI is it's the hot topic right now. A lot of people are starting to kind of invest in that a little bit more. But yeah, so really right now, our first pilot kind of kicked off. Our second pilot is going to be starting at the end of the month. So the goal would probably be to have maybe about 50 to 100 students there. And then we're going to open it up to kind of like a B2C cohort, to where we're just going to say, hey, the first 500 people get to try this new app out for free, and we'll kind of just post that on our social medias.
So that was my question, the first part of it,
Yeah.
like if you're working with the local Tech Centro, but I got the mic anyway, and Madeline has a question.
Hey, Mark, thank you for being here today. My question is about the certification. You mentioned that there's certified courses here. Are they accredited certified courses? Who's doing, who is giving the certifications?
Yeah, so the goal is to partner with the accrediting agencies. So we're not able to offer the certifications just yet, because we're still in the process of fine tuning our curriculum, our content. So there are specific companies that obviously run the certification process. So those are our target partnerships that we're looking for right now. But we don't right now. It's we're offering our own certification, but that doesn't really, you have to partner with an accrediting body first. So that's kind of who we're looking at partnering with. And you had also mentioned to another institution that we're working with here, specifically in York. We're working with the Lincoln Intermediate Unit as well too. So they're going to be part of our next pilot.
Mark, thank you. Very interesting. Your perspective approach toward industry is 2 years away. Am I reading that correctly?
No. So we're going to be launching our full platform in, I would say, August of this year.
Okay, so am I hearing this or imagining that this could become an app? If I have skilled workers in a manufacturing operation, that I would purchase or an app on that person's iPhone that would be relative to the work that that person is doing.
Exactly. Yeah. So even if they're not learning languages, we'll have the ability to teach them soft skills. So I apologize. I don't really have a lot of knowledge with manufacturing, but if you came to us and said, we want our client, we want our employees to do this, this, and this, we can create a virtual environment around that. We can 3D scan a room even of yours, right? So what you saw here with the demo, even that's a little bit outdated because our environments now, they actually look like a real room. So we actually have the ability to come to your facility and 3D scan, and we can put people in that environment, train them, not beyond languages. So off, soft skills, like I mentioned a couple times as well.
Hi. I work at the York Literacy Institute, along with my boss here next to me. We have a couple of engine licenses that we use for the past 3 or 4 years. Do you anticipate this becoming something that can be used on a computer as well in a classroom, or are you seeing it as just an app for phones at this point?
Yeah, so it's gonna be across all. We're building out right now to where it will be used on phones, tablets, computers, VR headsets, and eventually AR glasses once they're kind of come up more mainstream, but pretty much all devices. Yeah.
I'd love to talk to you afterwards.
Yeah,
if you have
please.
minutes. Great.
Awesome.
Mark, thank you for sharing your insights with us today. Your work with Vizulingo is truly inspiring and exciting to see how AI and VR can help bridge language barriers in our workforce. We appreciate your efforts and look forward to seeing the impact of your pilot program. Rotarians, how about another round of applause for our speaker? As you all know, instead of giving the speakers a gift, we purchase a book and we ask them to sign the book plate, and we donate it locally. This week's book will be donated to York Day Early Learning Center in York City, along with a bookmark made by the students at Creative York. Next week, our speaker will be Ciara Dar, Outreach Director for the Women's Care Center. As the largest pregnancy resource center in the nation, I had nothing to do with the speaker, by the way. As the largest pregnancy resource center in the nation, Women's Care Center's mission is to help moms have healthier pregnancies by supporting them from the moment they find out they're pregnant until the child reaches kindergarten, with services including their pregnancy test, ultrasounds, and counseling services. Ciara's presentation will delve into the center's mission, the processes that have contributed its success, and Women's Care Center's impact on fostering strong, nurturing families in the York community. Reminder, if you are a woman wearing purple today, please come up here after the meeting. I want your picture. And this meeting is now adjourned.